Industry have faced hundreds of lawsuits and hit with millions of dollars in fines in the government's quest to protect wildlife. Yet thousands of birds are killed every year by wind farms with few repercussions. Why the double standard? Joining us now is Robert Bryce, Senior Fellow at the Manhattan Institute. He's written extensively about this. Robert, good of you to be here. We're talking about golden eagles, hundreds of raptors, owls killed by wind farms. Why isn't the federal government doing more to protect these birds from the green energy projects?
Well, Dagan, it's clear that there has been word from the top levels of the Department of Justice and or Department of Interior to effectively give the wind energy business a get-out-of-jail-free card. It is, as I wrote in the piece I published in the Wall Street Journal last week, it's a pernicious double standard. We don't have one law for everyone. We have one set of laws for the oil and gas and for the electricity transmission business and a whole nother law for the wind energy business.
There are dozens of organizations that are petitioning the Fish and Wildlife Service, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, to do something about this. Do you think that something does change and there is more of an even playing field for all of these different parts of the energy business?
Well, I certainly hope so, Dagan, and it is interesting to see how this coalition has come about. It's really been led by the American Bird Conservancy, and I really commend them for it. But now we have over 80 different organizations, including American Bird Conservancy, numerous Audubon chapters around the country, the Cornell Ornithological Laboratory, all seeking mandatory guidelines for siting for wind projects that would include further environmental review. And I've been writing about this issue of Migratory Bird Treaty Act violations now for over 20 years. Some of the first stories I published in national publications more than 20 years ago were about the oil and gas industry being prosecuted under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and rightly so, because they were killing birds. But the Department of Justice is continuing to prosecute the oil and gas industry. I just found a clip from last August on this. The Department of Justice taking 7 different oil companies to court for killing 28 birds, and yet we have thousands of cases, thousands of instances of the wind energy business killing birds, and yet not a single prosecution.
We're talking about everything from burrowing owls to red-tailed hawks to golden eagles, and we're looking at some pictures of these birds. I wanted to read you this comment that we got from John Anderson at the American Wind Energy Association and get your response to it. He told us, no form of energy generation is free from impacts, and that while some collisions occur between turbines and birds, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service gladly acknowledges that wind energy is not even close to being a leading cause of mortality with respect to the birds. What do you say to that?
Okay, so, but he still hasn't addressed the central point here, which is that there is a pernicious double standard. Further, Dagan, the part that just drives me crazy is that we have federal taxpayers subsidizing the wind business, and yet they're not held to any kind of wildlife standard. So we have federal taxpayers, in effect, subsidizing the slaughter of American wildlife with impunity by the wind energy business. So this claim, oh, it's not very much. Well, okay, well, the oil and gas industry could say the same thing. And I think it's absurd.
Robert, it was good to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here. And I encourage people to go back and read the piece that you wrote for the Wall Street Journal. It goes into greater detail, and there's some shocking statistics in there. Robert, thank you so much.